Okay, so the first things that you're going to be needing are the pattern, the written instructions if you would like them, and all of the yarn that we put together in the Get Ready With Me. What I did was I took the 4 bags of sets that we made and I put them in this bog bag, and that's what we need. We'll also need our scissors and our tapestry needle and our crochet hook. The benefit of working with the sets in bags as opposed to the crochet tote is that if your strands get tangled within each other, which will make more sense once we get into it, you can easily physically move these around so that it's no longer tangled, which is a huge benefit as opposed to putting it in a crochet tote and it being stuck in one position. So it's actually more beneficial to do it this way. But again, like I use both ways. I like both ways. This is just a really easy way to do it. So I'm going to scooch this back and then we will get into the actual pattern. So the first thing that I want to go over is once you purchase your pattern, which if you go onto the Etsy store and use the code Holiday Hookup, you can get it for 15% off. So that's pretty cool. Go get it. But if you look at this character and letter tip page, you'll see the very first tip is do not be intimidated by the numbers on the graph. So the numbers there are just to help you keep count. We'll get into it and it'll make a lot more sense. The next one is the color of the numbers. So they really do not mean anything besides whether you are on an odd row or an even row. So the red numbers are odd rows and the black numbers are even rows. And that way it's just easier for you to go ahead and distinguish when we are working on it. Like, oh, I'm on an odd row. Oh, now I'm on an even row, and so on and so forth. So that's all that means. And then we will go over the rest of these when we get into it. The next tip is do not skimp on using all 6 strands at one time. So right now we are actually going to be using 8, which it's not going to be scary at all. We're just adding in the accent color, which is it's going to put that pop in there that's really, really pretty. But we are going to be working with all of these at one time, and it is not scary. It's a little awkward at first, but we'll go over it and we'll get through it, and you'll find that it does become very simple to do. And then keeping your beginning tail ends out is another tip that I like to do, but I'll explain that once we get into it. And then also keeping your strands stacked. So what I mean by that is we have the red here, we have the brown, we have the white, and then we have our set of both colors. So when we're working, we're going to want to keep this one at the bottom, this one next to it, this one on top of the brown, and we'll be working with this one. And then whenever we switch, we'll go ahead and keep them in that order so that it'll prevent it from getting tangled like this, because when it's like this, it's not fun to work with. But this is where I was saying that if it does get like this, you can easily switch the bags around to untangle it, which is really, really helpful. Okay, so here it says 16 skeins of medium weight yarn. That is true if you are not using an accent color. If you are using an accent color, then we got 20 because we added the 4 extra for the accent color. And so if you haven't already gotten your yarn together, again, go watch that Get Ready With Me video and it will make a lot more sense. And we should have everything else. So now there's nothing left but to get started. So today we are going to work on rows 1 through 10. We are going to start here and we are going to chain 103 with the set of both colors. Okay, so we have 103 here. What we are gonna do now is on row 1, you could see insert your other 4 strands of yarn here to ensure the thickness of the blanket is consistent all the way through. So we are going to do that, but we are going to insert these 6 strands of yarn. So I'm gonna get them all the same length. And with the ends pointing to my right hand, I am going to just hang them off in between the working strands and the chain. So what this is going to look like is I want these ends pointing that way. I want them out of, we are going to be working this way. I want them coming out this way. And we are going to go into the 3rd stitch from the hook. So here's 1, 2, 3 right here. We are going to insert our hook in here, and we are going to go underneath these strands, and then we are going to pull through and single crochet with these in the center of that. So now what we're going to do is we are going to grab the ends that were just facing this way, and we're going to face them the same way because I want to trap them in to the next few single crochets. So now we are going to grab all of this and we are going to put it in front of our chain, and we are going to kind of hold these all at the same tension. And as I'm working, I'm going to be moving these extra strands away from the one chain I'm working in. So it's going to look a little something like this. Okay, so I'm going to pull all of this in the front. I'm going to move it out of the way with my thumb, and I'm going to catch them all into this next single crochet. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to be doing this the whole time. And I'm going to be feeling, for that next single crochet. I kind of want to open it up a bit so that it's just ready and easy to go. And then once we get to this part where we have these little pieces sticking out and they're a little bit shorter, we can go ahead and just move them back out of the way and continue, and we will cut those pieces because we don't need them anymore. So I'm going to just work all the way down until I reach the end of this little shorty. And then I'll move this one out of the way too. And then we can continue on. So if you can tell it's starting to twist up a bit, that's fine. We're just going to kind of pull on it to straighten it out and release that tension that's making it want to twist. And then here we are going to go ahead and snip these little pieces so that they are not in our way anymore. And here we have it. And if you could see this little piece sticking out here, I'm gonna come over here and it's kind of sticking out. It's a little bit bulgier than the rest. So we're gonna come and pull on the brown to hopefully tighten that up. And if that doesn't work, then we're gonna find these little pieces of brown and we're gonna pull on them. There we go. So it just tightened that in, it pulled it in, and then we'll go ahead and cut those pieces shorter so that we got rid of that slack. Okay, so now we can continue on. And I will just warn you now, this is going to be the most awkward row that you're working with. So if it feels awkward, that's because it is, and that's okay. We'll get through it and we'll be on row 2 soon enough. So we are going to just continue that while I'm still holding these tight and putting them in front of my chain so that they're in front of what I'm working with and not back here, because if they are back here, you're going to get a lot more of those loops coming out of the back, and that it doesn't look very good, and then your kids will pull on them and it's not fun. So we like to just keep everything up in the front where we can keep an eye on it. And then every so often we are going to pull on it to release that tension and make sure that it's straight and not twisting up. So I'm kind of pulling it forward and then pinching these two together while I'm moving this part out of the way with my thumb so that I could get a clear view of where that chain is at, but also have control over all of this going on here. So we want to make sure that this row is as even as possible. So we're going to give it a good pull. That way we release any tension that was built up. And we are done with row 1. So now row 2, we're going to single crochet 101 stitches with the set of both colors. So we are going to chain 2, turn, and we want to keep all of these strands in the front. We don't want them to go behind, because if they're behind, they're a lot harder to control, and you'll get a lot more of those loops in the that we had in the beginning that we don't want. So we want to pull it, we want to make sure we're pulling them to the front. And normally what I would do typically is I would pull these in so that you could crochet them in and be done with them. However, I'm going to leave them out because these are the beginning tail ends that we want to keep out, because they'll help us know that if they're on the right side, we are on an even row. And if they're on the left side, we are on an odd row. So I hope that would make sense, and I believe it'll help once you kind of see it a little bit better or see that a little more. So yeah, now we're just going to go back and we are going to single crochet 1 in each of the stitches while we are still holding on to all of these strands in the front with that slight tension on them with your thumb as we're pinching them together with our work. So there we go. Okay, so I just went through and only caught one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to let that go, pull it out, and just redo it. That way everything is correct and going through properly. So we just got to the end here, and I don't know if you can see it, but I had another little shorty piece that was sticking out, so I'm gonna just trim that off. And we are going to start on row 3. But before that, I'm going to just quadruple check that it is all even, because we don't want that tension to be tight at all. So here we are going to chain 2, turn, pulling this in the front, and going into the very next stitch. We're going into this one right here, and we are just going to single crochet all the way across again. Now we are at the end of row 3, and we are going to chain 2, turn, and pull all of the strands in the front. And now be on row 4. So this is where it's going to get a little bit different and also fun, because now we're going to start seeing the pattern come together. So here we are going to single crochet 3 stitches with your set of both colors, and then we're going to single crochet 95 stitches with the set of white, and then we'll finish off with 3 single crochets on the other side, because now we are starting to make the actual blanket, and we are completing this frame. So here is where I was talking about it getting tangled. What we're gonna do instead of moving everything around, which we can, but at this point, it's not a huge problem. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna single crochet like normal. And then I am going to set that aside, and I'm gonna grab these, and starting from the top here, I'm going to kind of pull them in so that it makes this twist as close to here as possible. And the reason I'm doing this now is because we are going to start working with a different color. So we want to make sure that it's not all tangled up and that it is gonna go smoothly. So I'm going to just detangle this. Okay, so now we have this, and it's tight, and I am going to pinch it down and hold it against the work. So now all of these are not tangled up anymore. And what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet on top of this. Okay, so I am going to do, I did one there, one single crochet. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets and 3 single crochets. But how it says we're gonna do 3 single crochets here, we just did that. Instead of going through and completing this with this color, what I'm going to do is I am going to put this down, and I'm going to pick up my white, which is the next color I'm going to be using. And I'm going to add this to my other strands here. And I'm going to complete this single crochet with this color. So as you can tell here, it finished it off with the same color. So we made 3 complete single crochets with this color. But now when we go to do our 95 stitches, we're not going to have an extra one with the top of the both colors and the bottom of the white. They're all going to be complete sets. So now we're going to do 95 of these all the way across. And we should end up, if we counted right, we should end up with a space for 3 more single crochets that we can complete in the set of both colors. And here is where I am going to try to keep these stacked in order. So the red is on the bottom. I'm going to try and keep it at the bottom. The brown is next to the red. I am going to try to keep it at the red. And then the white is on top of the brown, but we're going to be using that. So that means that the set of both colors is going to be on top of the brown. And I'm going to try to keep those in that order. Now it's not going to stay in that order, and that's okay. We have our little methods of making it work, but if we could keep that in that order, stacked as best we can, it will make our lives a lot easier. Okay, so now as we are approaching the last few, we are going to make sure that nothing is tangled up. And it did get a little bit tangled, which is fine. We'll go ahead and hold it down and get it ready to finish out. So let's see, we have the last few here, 3, and that's where I'm going to end. So I am going to do 1 and 2 right over top of those. I'm not going to finish it with the white. I am going to put the white down, and now I'm going to pick up my set of both colors again, finish off this with that set, and then I'm going to do the last 3 here. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 2 and turn. And there we go. Now for row 5, we're going to single crochet 3 stitches with our set of both colors, and then we're going to insert instructions for row 1 of our character or letter pattern. So that's where this is going to come in. I have written out the instructions verbatim what we're doing, but really it's just the same thing over and over again, so you're really technically not going to need this. I just thought some people might like to see it until it makes sense, but we are going to start inserting this. So now we can see that we are going to be on an odd row, which makes sense because row 1 is an odd number. And if you could see here, we do not have tail ends. So that is very helpful in letting us know. If you are going to put in a letter, I typically put them on the right hand bottom side. You can put them wherever, but if that was me in this case, I would insert this pattern right now, and I would insert a letter once we turn it around and come back. That way it's facing the correct way. So what we're going to do is I am actually going to move this out of the way, and I'm just going to grab something to help me keep track of which row I'm on. So I'm on row 1. It's going to be pretty simple because it's just 31 across. And how this is going to look is we are going to do 3 single crochet with our set of both colors. So row 5, single crochet 3 stitches with your set of both colors. And then we're going to insert the pattern. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So what I do here is I am going to do the next part of the frame, which is going to be 1 single crochet in the white. So this is just going to make sure that it all has a pretty little white frame around it. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the white, and we're not going to finish off. Now we're going to grab the brown color. So this is going to be the background of our first 2 squares. And we are going to do 31 stitches in the brown color. So now I'm going to grab it and tighten all of these ones down. Pull them out all in front, trying to keep them stacked as possible. I'm going to finish this stitch off with my next color, and then I'm going to single crochet 31 in this color. So so now this is 31. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this out so that tension releases. Especially right here where we do a color transition, it does like to tighten down. So if you could pull that out right there, it really will make your life easier. And we are going to now pick up our set of both colors again, because this is what is creating the gingham effect. So I'm going to make sure that this is all pulled down. And then we are going to finish this last stitch off with our next color. And then we are going into the next single crochet, and we're going to single crochet 31 in this set of both colors. Okay, and here we are on 31. I'm going to put this one down, and I'm going to pick up the brown again. So now we are going to be doing 31 in the brown color. So I'm going to finish that stitch off with my brown, and I'm going to do 31 here. Okay, so we are on 31 here. Okay, so we have 31. We are going to finish this off with our set of white. And we'll just be pulling this all up as close as we can. So we're going to finish this off with our set of white. So there we go. And now we're going to put the white down and pick up the set of both colors to go ahead and finish off these last 3 stitches. So then finishing off that stitch with our next color and going 1, 2, and 3. So now we're going to chain 2 and turn. We're also going to want to go ahead and pull this. That way it's all flat. And what's really neat is you could start to see how cool it looks, especially with that red peeking through. It looks so Christmassy, so fun, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it's gonna look. So now we would be on row 2 of our pattern. So we can tell we're on an even row because of our tail ends. And we are going to see the instructions for row 2. Again, I am not going to be using a letter in this blanket because I think I might do a giveaway for it. I'm not entirely sure yet. But if you wanted to make this personalized, here is where I would typically add the letter. So you would add your instructions for row 2 of your letter if you're going to put your letter here. I am not going to do that, so I'm just going to put the instructions for row 2 of my gingerbread mat. So here is another thing to go over. We are doing a gingham effect. So that means we're also going to be alternating the colors that we're using for the background. Right now I'm using brown. So that means that any white space here is going to be the brown color. So anywhere that you see white, that means you are going to use brown. Anywhere that is highlighted in the blue, you are going to use the white color. And so you will be able to go ahead and go back and forth between your colors based on, okay, here's the highlighted colors. That means what I'm highlighting as the picture is going to be the opposite color. So I hope that makes sense. And if not, we are going to get a little bit more into it right now. So I'm going to do 3 single crochet in my set of both colors. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm not going to finish it with this color. I am going to finish it with my white. So I'm doing 1 in the white. I'm going to put this back down and I'm going to pick up the brown. And so I want to pick it up in the order it's in. That way it just makes my life easier. And I'm going to finish off that stitch. And if we can see here, we are going to single crochet 6 in the brown. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we're not going to finish it off with the brown. We're going to put the brown down and we're going to pick up the white. And here we have 6 in the white. So we are going to pick up the white. Sometimes it helps to grab it from where it's coming out of so that you can see that you're grabbing 2 of the correct white and not just, you know, whichever white is there. It does help in the end. So now we're going to do 6 in the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to put the white down and we are going to do 7 in the brown. So I'm going to put the white down, pick up the brown, and now we're going to do 7. So I'm going to finish that 6th one off with the brown and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so I'm going to put the brown down and then we are going to do 6 in the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to put this one down. I'm going to pick up my brown again, and we are going to do 6 in the brown. And that should lead us all the way to the end of this little square. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now I am going to pick up the set of both colors, and we are going to do 31 in this set of colors. And here is 31. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to pick up the brown again. So just to recap, if you are putting a letter on this section, you would now switch out your instructions that you were looking at for the letter, and you would put in these instructions. But since I'm not doing a letter, I'm going to do the exact same thing in this square as I just did. So we're going to do 6 in the brown. And then here's 6. I'm going to put the brown down. I'm going to pick up the white. Kind of pull all of this tightly. So I'm going to pick up the white. And then, as you can see, I didn't like scrunch it all the way up like I would maybe in one of these rows, because you can see it. If you did that, it would bunch up in the corner here, and you'd be able to see all of that tangled up. So I kind of did it where it stopped twisting, and I'm just going to do that single crochet in there, and I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to crochet over that. So we are going to do 6 in the white. So 1. The other thing, I usually put something heavy over this so that it doesn't move around, but I don't have anything really heavy right now. I usually use my iPad, but I'm using my iPad right now, so maybe more paper will be the weight that I need to keep it from moving around. We'll try that. Now we're gonna do 6 in the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm gonna put the white down, pick up the brown again. And I am going to do 7 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now I'm going to put the brown back down. I'm going to pick up the white and I'm going to do 6 in the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now I'm going to finish out in the brown for 6. So I'm going to pick up the brown and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to pick up my white one more time to finish out the white part of the frame. And then I'm going to pick up my set of both colors and finish out the second part of the frame. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, and we're going to make sure that our tension is it's okay, especially in between the color changes. We're going to just kind of go make sure that they're not wavy. Everything is even. And so we're going to do all of that. Make sure that it's all even, especially between the color transitions. And we are ready to start the third row of our pattern, but the 7th row of the blanket. Another little tip is how I can count up where I'm at is if you could see here, you could see these groups of 2 rows, and then there's an indentation. So I go 2, 4, 6, and I could tell I'm on the 6th row, or I just finished the 6th row, so I'll be on the 7th row. And if we go over here to the odd side, you'll be able to see this indentation here. There's this group of 2 here, this group of 2 here, and then there's this one row here, and this one row here. So that's another way to tell if you're on an odd side, or as opposed to the even side. Whatever number row you are on, that's how you can count. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my work over, and we are going to start row 3 here on the pattern and row 7 of the blanket. All right, so we are going to single crochet 3 in the set of both colors, and then I just pull that in tight, and then do 2, 3, and then we'll put that down, pick up the white, do that next part of the frame, put it down, pick up the brown, finish this stitch off with the brown, and then now we're working from left to right. On even rows, you are going to work from right to left. On odd rows, you are going to be working left to right. So that means we're starting over here. That means we're going to do 5 in our brown color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then now we are going to do 3 in our white. So I'm going to finish that stitch off with the white, and I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to put this down and I'm going to do 3 in the brown. So we'll pick up the brown again. Finish that one off with the brown and go 1, 2, and 3. Put this one down and we're going to be doing 2 in the white. So that's 1 and 2. Okay, so we'll put the white down. Now we're going to do 5 in the brown. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we are going to do 2 in the white. 1, 2, and then 3 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 in the white. So we'll put the brown down, pick up the white, and we'll do 3 in the white. 1, 2, 3, and then we will finish off with 5 in the brown. So 5 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we're just going to make sure that we straighten everything out. And don't worry if your transitioning isn't very seamless at first. It will get better and more second nature to you. It's okay. The beauty about this type of blanket especially is that it's okay if it's not perfect. It still turns out so nice. Whether it's exact or not, it still turns out nice. So even if you're having a heck of a time keeping everything straight and it's giving you a hard time, that's okay. Embrace it. Get through it because it still makes a very pretty blanket in the end. So now we are going to do 31 in this set of both colors. We're just going to straighten this all out. And then we are going to do row 3 now here for this side. So I'm going to put down the set of both colors. I'm going to pick up the brown, finish these stitches off with the brown, crochet 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to put the brown down, pick up the white, and do 1, 2, 3 in the white, and then I'm going to pick up the brown again and do 3 in the brown. Put this down, and then I am doing 2 in the white. Put this down, and I am going to do 5 in the brown color. Okay, put this down. Now I'm doing 2 in the white. And 3 in the brown. Okay, oops. We're gonna do 3 more in the white. And then lastly, we are going to finish off with 5 in the brown. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and do our frame. So that's 1 in the white and 3 in the set of both colors. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 2 and turn. We're also going to make sure that everything is flat, and we are ready to go to the next row, which is going to be an even row and row 4 of the pattern, and this is row 8 of the blanket. So we're starting off with our 3 in the mixed colors, so 1, and I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing here. I am pulling this one to make this chain tighter, and I'm pulling this to pull this in tighter so that you can't see it very well. And so that's what I'm doing for each and every row. So that's 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to put that down. Grab the white for our frame. Put this down, and then I'm going to pick up the brown again. Another note that I'd like to add here is that it is a lot easier to do this. Like, I typically sit at the couch and crochet, and so it is easier to handle all of the colors when you're in a more comfortable position. So we're going to do 5 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to do 2 in the white. 1, 2. Okay, now we're going to do 5 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do 2 in the white. 1, 2. Alrighty, so now we are going to do 3 in the brown. Oh, that one was a little tight, a little loose. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pull that down. There we go. Pull that down too. We don't want them too loose. Okay, so 3 in the brown. 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to do 2 in the white. 1, 2. And also note we're on an even row, so that means we're working from right to left. Okay, so now we're going to do 5 in the brown. And 2 in the white. And then we are going to finish off with 5 in the brown. All right, so now we are going to grab our set of both colors for our gingham. And we are going to finish this stitch off with that. We're going to straighten everything out here, especially where our colors are transitioning. And we are going to do 31 in the set of both colors. All right, there's 31, so I'm going to put that down. I'm going to pick up the brown. I'm going to finish this off in the brown. Make sure both of those hooked. Straighten this out, and we are going to be on row 4 again, but for this side. So we're just going to do it again. We're going to do 5 in the brown. Two in the white. Five in the brown. Two in the white. 1, 2, and then we are going to do 3 in the brown. And I'm going to finish off with the brown, and I am going into do 3 single crochet in the brown. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 in the white again. 1, 2, and then 5 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're doing 2 in the white. 1, 2, and then 5 in the brown. But yeah, don't let it intimidate you. Just give yourself the opportunity to try it, because it really is so simple once you get the hang of it. I think the thought of it could be more daunting than anything else, but it really is super easy. Okay, so we have 5 there. Now we are going to finish out with our frame. So that's 1 here, and then 3 here. So 1, 2, and 3. And as you can tell, it's already looking so festive and fun. I'm really excited. Okay, so we're gonna chain 2, turn, and then we are going to be following the instructions for row 5 here. So now we're gonna be working from left to right. So we'll do 1, and I'm gonna tighten that up and tighten this up. 2, 3, put that down. We'll do the rest of the frame in white. And then we are gonna do 4 in the brown color. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets in the white. 1 and 2. Now here we have a run of 1 in one color, 1 in the other, 1 in one color, 1 in the other, 1 in one color. Now, for someone like me, who I think I may have a little bit of dyslexia, this trips me up a bit. So what I like to do is I like to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in my head, that means I'm going to switch colors 5 times. So what that's going to look like is I'm going to go and I'm going to just switch colors 5 times. So it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now I just did that in an easier way for me than to remember, okay, it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Like, how many times do I do it? Did I do enough? I'll just count it out and just go, okay, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Changing color 5 times. Now I'm on the white and I'm going to be doing 3 white. So 1, 2, and 3. Alrighty, so now I'm going to do 3 in the brown. One, 2, and 3, and I'm going to do 3 more in the white. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now I'm going to do 5 more. I could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more color changes. So I'm going to start with the brown at 1, and I'm going to do it 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there we go. Now I'm going to finish off with 2 in the white. 1 and 2. And then I'm going to do 4 in the brown, and we will be done with this square. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we're going to put this down, pick up the set of both colors, and we are going to finish that stitch off and do 31 in this color. And then I'm just going to flatten this out before we get too far. All right, and here's 31. So now we are going to do the exact same thing that we did right here for row 5, because now we are on row 5 again of the pattern for this square. So we're going to start with 4 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do 2 in the white. 1, 2, and then we're going to do 5 color changes. So that is 1, oops, let's start that again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now we're going to do 3 in the white. 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to do 3 in the brown. 1, 2, and 3. Now 3 more in the white. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 in the, oh no, 3 in the brown, 3 in the white. Okay, so now we're going to do 5 of the color change again. So I'm just going to get this ready. Make sure everything's nice and tight and at the right tension. Pull that in a bit. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alrighty, so now we're going to finish off with 2 in the white. 1, 2, and 4 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we are going to finish the frame part of it. So that's 1 white and 3 of the mixed color. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. Make sure everything is able to lay flat and turn. So now we're on row 6. Okay, and again, now we're working from right to left. So we're turning and we're going to do 3 in this color. I just tightened that. I'm going to tighten this. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do 1 in the white. And now we're going to do 4 in the brown. One, and I'm going to make sure that nothing is pulling out. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do 8 in the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, so now we're going to do 1 in the white and then 1 in the brown and 2 in the white. So 1 in the brown and 2 in the white. One, 2. Okay, so now we're going to do 1 in brown and 2 in the white. All right, here we go. 1 in the brown, 8 in the white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to finish off with 4 in the brown. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alrighty, so now we're gonna do our gingham section, and that's gonna be 31. Make sure this is all flat. and 31. Alrighty, so now I'm going to grab my brown and we are going to straighten that out. We are going to do the exact same thing that we just did on the other side. Alright, so that's 4 in the brown. Eight in the white. All right, so I'm actually gonna fix that so that that's not showing up. This is what I meant by it'll bunch up. So there's a couple of things we can do here. Oh, I'm gonna have to back it up again. So the first one, you can finish that off, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of work out this little mess we got going on to make sure that we know where our colors are. And what I can do here, instead of trying to like twist this and pull it up so that it makes a bunch and you could see that, I'm actually gonna just let it unravel. And I'm just going to grab the white and let the tangle be back here, and we'll fix that at a different point. But right now we want to make sure that it's not going to bunch up in the back to where we can see it. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now it's not there wrapped around this part of the white. We're going to do 1 in the brown and 2 in the white. So that's 1. And then we're going to have to do the same thing here because these ones are twisting over. So I'm just going to get it to where it's not twisting over. I hope this is making sense. And we're going to do 2 in the white. And then we're going to do 1 in the brown. And 2 more in the white. Then another in the brown. And then we are going to finish it off with 8 in the white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so now we're going to do our final 4 in the brown, and we will be done with row 6 of the pattern and row 10 of the blanket. 3, 4, finish off here with 1 in the white and 3 in this mixed color. And so what I can do here is I can actually go ahead and do 1 in this color, and then to straighten out the white and the red, I'm going to go ahead and pull them all together, and we'll just crochet over that little twist there, and then everything will be back to normal. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we have just fixed that. So now they're not going to be crossing over each other. So that's one way you could do it. Again, you can also physically move your bags around, which also works well too. And yeah, so here are rows 1 through 10 for our blanket. I hope you are enjoying it. I have a little bit of homework for you, and that is to do rows 11 through 20. You can complete that at your own pace, and I am hoping to have the videos dropped out on Mondays now, since we're going to be doing a video instead of doing a live. So you have until Monday when we get back together, and we'll do the next 10 rows after that. Join us back next week as we continue on. Do your homework. It's a lot of fun, and I hope this video helps and makes it a little bit easier to dive into it.